Akut Moed, Moedim Simcha, Young Israel, Akut Erev Yantiv. The Chume Avelim extended to Mrs. Joyce Shragowitz upon the passing of longtime Young Israel member of her husband, Dr. Jacob Shragowitz. Condolences as well extended to Mr. Jerry Fish upon the loss of his sister, Mrs. Rhonda Weissman. May Mrs. Shragowitz and Jerry and respective families begin the process of Nechama, of consolation, the last days of Yantiv. Shiva begins as soon as Yantiv ends, Thursday night, through Wednesday morning. Last day of Yantiv counts towards Shiva, even though there are no Nihuge Avelos. May all continue to stay well and to take care of themselves, take care of their families, and enjoy Yantiv. Schedule as posted on the Pesach schedule. I reattached it for those who may have lost it. I've also reattached the April calendar for the Zmanim, for the schedule for Friday and for Shabbos. Regarding Chametz she'over alav Pesach, purchasing Chametz after Pesach, those who sell their Chametz through me can, as in all years, assume that if you don't hear from me before 10 o'clock, all is okay, and you can partake. You can use whatever Chametz you have put away in your homes. Regarding the various stores, a whole bunch of them are okay without any shilas. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Costco, BJ's, Trader Joe's are not of any concern. Regarding the various supermarkets, so as in all years, we highly encourage you to patronize the kosher supermarkets, the Jewish-owned supermarkets that have no problem whatsoever. Other supermarkets, it's a little bit tricky. Very difficult in all years, especially this year, to track exactly when the chametz entered the store. Many of the distributors, particularly CNS, are 100% Jewish or private companies. Very difficult to figure out exactly what's going on, even though CNS chametz is sold by Rabbi Teitz each year. My personal recommendation is, if at all possible, for real chametz. That means not for non-chametz or not for spreads, not for liquids, but for cereal and pretzels and breads. To be careful to wait until Lag BaOmer before going to the regular non-Jewish owned supermarkets. Bread, after probably a week, it's hard to believe it's a problem if it's fresh bread. But for pretzels, for cereals, etc., to wait, if possible, to wait till Lag BaOmer before going back to the regular non-Jewish owned supermarkets. If one wants to be lenient, that is probably what to rely upon. This year, Yizkar is recited b'yechidus without a minyan. I turned on all the lights in the shul for whatever that's worth, and I personally am going to be reciting Yizkar for the departed members of our own shul b'yechidus at home over Yantif on Achron Pesach on the 8th day. Of course, the custom is to pledge tzedakah to the shul at that time. Checks can be sent to Kenny Sham, to the treasurer, after Yantiv, and noted that they are for Yizkar. Very apropos that we celebrate, of all the Yomim Tovim, to celebrate in the home Pesach, as we would prefer to have been in shul like all years. But Pesach sets the tone for all the Yomim Tovim and drives home the concept that for Jews, our Yiddishkeit is not based on shul. The foundation and the core of our Yiddishkeit, the anchor of our relation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is not our shul, no matter how much we love our shul, but rather is our homes. The home is the central foundation, the source of our relationship with Hashem. And that's why when it comes to the very first mitzvah, the first holiday, the Karban Pesach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu commands, V'yitkhu ish sel leveis avos, sel aboyis. The Karban Pesach is done in families, only if your family's not large enough, so then you include other people. The blood is taken on the two doorposts. Again, the home. And finally, one has to stay inside. One's not allowed to leave that home. The bias, the home, is the basis of the first mitzvah. is the basis of the Carbon Pesach, and is the basis of our Yiddishkeit. We very much miss our shul, but we're encouraged by the fact that something we haven't been able to do maybe ever, to spend our Pesach in our homes, setting the tones of a home that is filled with Kedusha, and homes that serve as our anchor in our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why we find that even when it came to the later holidays that were established by the Chachamim, Chanukah, so the Chachamim established Chanukah then in a similar vein. It's a ner ish uve. So the primary mitzvah is one candle per home. You light in the home. When it comes to Purim, when the Chachamim established Purim, is Vayomim Ha'ela, the Megillah reports, Nizkarim v'nasim b'chol dar v'dar mishpacha mishpacha. Purim is celebrated families, as the family is the most basic unit of our Yiddishkeit, and as such, the first mitzvah, the Karban Pesach, was one that was linked and connected in the home and only in the home, and that's what we acknowledge this year, and that's what we have an opportunity, in a positive sense, to strengthen and to reinforce. The Kabbalistic work, Kav HaYashar, records the name of the Maharil, that back in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, we know that there was Omdim Tzfufim, we would stand, we're crowded in the Pirkei Avos, beginning after Yantiv, and Mishtachavim, and somehow we'd bow down, and Revachim, there was always enough room, and the Maharil explains, so the reason for such is as follows. When all of Bnei Yisrael, when the Jewish people gathered in the Beis HaMikdash with the Shalosh Regalim, so somehow the Beis HaMikdash Shel Mata, that's the earthly Beis HaMikdash, was replaced by the Mikdash Shel Mala, by the heavenly Beis HaMikdash. What occurred, explains the Maharil, was that the neshamos of the tzaddikim, beginning with Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, through the generations, personal ancestors, would descend into the Beis HaMikdash with the Mikdash Amala, which was completely spiritual, and that would supplant the regular physical Mikdash Amata, and having been replaced with a completely spiritual Beis HaMikdash, room was no longer a factor. We're Lamala, that's we're above time, we're above space, and as such, explains the Maharil, the minhag is the maskir neshamos. That's, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, but in Shul, we're maskir neshamos, we acknowledge and remember the neshamos that used to come down on Yantiv. So we daven they should come down on Yantiv, and in our shuls. And this year, Yizkor is recited without a minyan. No need to have a minyan for Yizkor. That's we daven in our homes that the same neshamos that used to come down on Yantiv in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, and most years come down in our shuls, those same neshamas should descend in our homes, should strengthen us. The neshama should have an aliyah, but they should also daven and be melitz, and be good to betters. That's for so many who desperately need Yeshuos. They should intercede on our behalf. Those of us that are healthy, our families should stay healthy. Those who need a nechama should receive that consolation, and all of us should receive a Yeshua, the salvation. The whole world should receive the salvation. That's bimheira v'yameinu. Have a very good yantiv. Stay well. All of us should very quickly merit coming back together, celebrating yantiv as a community. But we're still a community with that in our own homes. The main thing is to keep well, to stay well, and have a very, very good yantiv.